Harry faces the sad reality of Invictus metamorphosis. He didn't make it up. Hello and welcome to Princess Diana YouTube. None of us can really understand why Invictus is trying to maintain this relationship with Harry. Harry is benefiting his charity by offering these ridiculous bills to attend. Harry is now a patron and is said to be a supporter of the pageant. He is certainly not a supporter or patron of competition. He is not a benefactor. He is not the actual sponsor of the annual events. It is often said that Harry is the founder, and that is not true either. A beautifully competitive event, the Invitames showcases the indomitable spirit of soldiers, the sick and wounded, and aid workers. Harry didn't invent the game. So basically these are Invictus Games modeled after the American Warrior Games. Harry himself saw them on a trip to America 10 years ago. In 2013, the Warrior Games included no less than 11 adaptive sports, including archery, track and field, swimming, rowing, shooting, cycling, weightlifting, wheelchair basketball, rolling, sitting, volleyball, and even wheelchair rugby. Then part of Invictus also borrows from the Paralympic Games, an international multi-sport event for athletes with disabilities. Now, after the 988 Olympics, the Paralympics take place almost immediately after their respective Olympics, meaning it's unlikely that Harry was the inventor of Invictus. I mean, maybe he was inspired to follow someone else's idea, but it's definitely not his own creation. All Harry really did was emulate the concept, following in the footsteps of the Warrior Games and the Paralympics, celebrating the creators of Invincible. Harry was more than happy to take all the praise before and after the Super Game, because it wasn't even his own idea. The recognition and applause seemed contagious because it had a lot to do with his own mean wife. Meghan Markle gets all the credit, but she's not the one who dreamed it up. He wants all the credit, but he's still a rebel. And now in the past I uploaded a video of Harry and his victims, and some comments were made about Harry's relationship with his team. Well, what league were they talking about exactly? I understand that Harry was stationed in Helmand Province, Afghanistan in 2007 to 2008 and dispatched perhaps 25 Taliban insurgents, bragging about his kills, claiming they were actually infantry. Not only has he brought so much disgrace to the British AR people, putting their lives at risk, but he's putting his own at risk as well. How dare Harry recall his 25 victories with such pride? I mean, he saw a lot of wounded soldiers and women during his 2 combat missions in Afghanistan. But how much did he really know about the aftermath of the war? What does he know about disability? So today's Invictus Games would feature his former disabled comrades, paralyzed, injured and weakened by so much bravery in the conflict, and thus out of action. And they are messy too. And many people are tired and depressed from the war experience. There are hundreds of people who can't work because of their injuries, and so while Harry thrives, he depends on this state disability. Please explain to me the connection between Prince Harry and harm to people who are actually suffering. What the hell do Meghan and Harry have? Chapter Invincible Soul? How exactly do they contribute to the excitement or mood of the activity? Prince William and Catherine. Although they are not active participants, they still donated $1 million to the Invictus Games Foundation. To me, that's far more important than what Harry and Meghan are doing, even if it's not about money. Exactly what Harry and Meghan have done for the character and motivation of this event, apart from showing that it is not only unnecessary, but superficial. You know what? Congratulations to the brave war veterans who sacrificed themselves for the late Queen and her country. We have to take care of her. We should pay attention to them. You should be the center of attention and not a bunch of scammers without the courage of these men and women. It won't be, and they deserve a big round of applause as well as recognition for it. They deserve our great praise. They deserve all the credit that is being celebrated. Who should be respected? Not Harry and Meghan. They bring nothing but shame, shame and shame to such a wonderful concept. Prince Harry and Meghan are a bunch of liars. There are some braggarts who undermine the spirit of Invictus in their shows and pop music to become a circus. In Victor Harry's racing, it's a big pompous celebration, a spectacle, and an excuse for a very incredulous person. He wants all the glory because he is so small. So boring. Developing a concept like Invictus from scratch requires a lot of creativity. Creativity that Harry certainly lacks. The proud and malicious prince can even spell their own name, let alone reinvent the concept of summoning. There are a lot of great ideas being borrowed these days, but Victor has the same design that Harry stole. Harry is basically like a pirate. He flies and takes other people's money and walks away with other people's ideas while claiming all the credit and getting all the praise. Harry wasn't much better than a thief. He stole someone else's idea and is now trying to pass it off as his own. I've been a fan of the US Wounded Warrior program from the very start, and when Harry decided to start developing a similar program, well, I paid attention. And I was pretty surprised when it became known as Harry's idea, as if nobody else had ever thought of that. But the difference with Harry's version is that the location of the games moved to other countries. The Wounded Warrior organization has really clung on to the idea of helping the soldiers, but after the first few years it seems like Harry has really been inconsistent when it comes to finding the sponsors who really make the games financially soluble. Even recently, the games that were held last year only showcased Harry and Meghan and all her overpriced clothing and jewelry, praising Harry instead of actually showcasing the competitors themselves. 5 people want to watch the game. We've heard that Netflix will air the segment on a certain date, but not later. Well, I think it's another big joke because this year the game will be replayed, and last year we didn't even get a chance to see it. It appears that Invictus really missed its mark. There is no real care or concern for the wounded, and Harry has never personally contributed to the stealth team, which is pretty surprising considering all the accolades he's received over the years. Given what we know now. Based on our knowledge of his integrity, he clearly believes that his presence is more than enough. Not only did Harry donate to the games, but he also took home something to cover his expenses. To make matters worse, he and Meghan were given show fees from their strange engagement that no one wanted. Since Harry was stripped of all his military honors, he decided to get the Mega Award for a narrator for Disney. Instead of attending an event where he actually turned his back on his family and the Commonwealth of Nations, I don't think Harry would be the sponsor of a game for veterans who are physically and/or mentally injured. I don't think even Prince would be a more appropriate sponsor, as at least he was flying for the RAF. Now, of course, I'm not in favor of his return as a working member of the royal family. Still, it's a good job for him. I think he would be very proud of that. And you? What do you think of Harry? Let us know what you think in the general section below. If you think my video is useful, don't be afraid to like and share it with your friends and family members who need it. Please subscribe to Princess Diana channel to support us more and more. Thanks again for watching. We'll say goodbye and see you tonight.